Maybe you had another argument. Maybe you had another misunderstanding, another moment where you both walked away thinking, why does this keep happening? And before you blame yourself or your partner, I want to show you something that could completely change the way you see your relationship. There is a piece of the puzzle most couples never think about, and it sits quietly in the background of every argument. Your childhood. And you might ask me, Petra, what does my childhood have to do with my marriage? Well, a lot actually, because every couple brings two childhoods into the relationship. These early experiences shaped the way you communicate, how you handle conflict, how safe you feel with each other. When there is conflict, you are not just reacting to your partner and to the moment, but you are also reacting to what the moment reminds your nervous system of. And when you begin to see this, when you start to understand this, you start to understand each other very differently. And once that understanding comes through, everything in your relationship begins to make a lot more sense. Long before you met your partner, you were already learning about love, comfort, conflict, attention, emotional safety, simply by being in your childhood home. You learned how people responded when you were upset, whether affection was predictable or unpredictable, what happened when voices were raised, whether your needs were welcomed or discouraged, whether mistakes were met with comfort or consequences. And you didn't analyze any of this. You just absorbed it. Your body learned it. Your subconscious mind soaked it in. Your nervous system shaped itself around it. So now, as an adult, that early emotional map still shows up, especially with the person you are closest to. If you grew up in a home where conflict meant yelling, withdrawal, or cold silence, your body might interpret even mild tension as danger. So you might shut down, retreat, get quiet, or become hyper-aware of tone or expressions. And if your partner grew up in a home where conflict was normal or even healthy, they might genuinely not understand why you react so strongly. To them, it's just a conversation, but to you, it feels like the ground is shaking. So you are not reacting to your partner, you are also reacting to old memories your subconscious mind never forgot. If you learned in childhood that having needs created tension, stress, or conflict, you may have learned to minimize your needs or to hide them. As an adult, this might show up as hesitating to ask for help, apologizing for your feelings, trying to handle everything yourself, waiting until things build up and spill out. And your partner might interpret this as distance or disinterest. But it's not that. It's simply the pattern you learned growing up. Some of us learned to show love by caretaking, doing, fixing, anticipating, managing everything. Others learned to show love by giving space, staying calm, staying independent, staying steady. So when these two meet, one can feel unseen and the other can feel pressured. And yet, you're both trying to love in the only way you've learned to. If affection was inconsistent or overwhelming in childhood, receiving love now can make you feel uncomfortable, suspicious, or even unsure how to let it in. You might pull away without meaning to. Your partner may think, why can't they let me in? But what they don't understand is that it's not about them. There's a lot more to it. It's about what feels familiar or unfamiliar to your nervous system. I want to give you a few examples of how this could be showing up for you in your relationship. Because once you see the patterns, The role you learned in childhood becomes much clearer, much easier to understand. These are roles I see again and again in couples therapy. The caretaker and the underfunctioner. You may have been the responsible one growing up, always managing emotions or tasks. Your partner, meanwhile, may have been growing up relying on others. Together, this can create a dynamic where you overfunction and they underfunction. The peacemaker and the pursuer. You might avoid conflict to stay safe, and your partner might need to resolve conflict immediately to feel safe. So you withdraw and they chase. Both of you are protecting yourselves, just in opposite ways. The overachiever and the easygoing partner. Maybe you learned that love had to be earned through performance. And your partner may have felt accepted simply for existing. So you feel unappreciated while they feel overwhelmed. The parentified child and the emotionally avoidant partner. You might have been the emotional adult long before you should have been. And your partner may have survived childhood by shutting down or detaching. So you feel alone and they feel suffocated. Neither of you chose this. These are simply old survival strategies. You can take a moment now and think about how any of this might be playing out in your relationship. Which role did you adapt to in your childhood? Which role do you think your partner adapted to? And how are those two roles interacting today in your relationship? If you'd like, you can pause the video here and take your time, and then come back when you're ready. We don't choose people at random. We are drawn to what feels known, not necessarily what feels healthy, safe, or truly compatible. If chaos was normal when you were growing up, chaos feels familiar now. If emotional distance was normal, genuine closeness can feel overwhelming. And if unpredictability was normal, well, inconsistency can feel strangely exciting. See, your brain isn't scanning for what's safe. It's scanning for what's recognizable, what feels familiar. And once it picks up a pattern that matches something from your past, it locks onto it instantly. Then it attaches the same meaning it gave that pattern when it first formed in your childhood. And that's when we start catastrophizing, misreading situations, or taking things far out of context. Because the moment you get triggered and those old childhood wounds open up, your rational adult self goes offline, and your subconscious mind, the younger part of you, takes over the wheel. So how do you begin to heal together? Healing as a couple doesn't mean fixing each other. It means understanding where your patterns come from and meeting each other there with compassion. You can start by getting curious about each other's childhoods, not to blame, but to understand. Ask each other questions like, how was conflict handled in your home? What happened when you were upset? What made you feel cared for as a child? What did your parents do or didn't do that made you feel loved? See, these conversations open up doors many couples have never walked through. Start to learn each other's triggers. What if your partner isn't overreacting, but instead they are remembering something, not consciously, but somatically, subconsciously? Understanding this softens both sides. Learn how to slow down during conflict. When things get tense, you are not arguing about dishes or messages or timing. You are stepping on your childhood wounds. Slowing down allows both of you to respond as adults today, not as the scared children you once were. Build new experiences of safety together. Small, consistent actions do matter. Showing up, listening without defensiveness matters. Repairing conflict quickly, expressing needs early, staying emotionally present matters. These moments literally reshape your nervous systems. Start to create a new emotional culture. Your relationship can become a place where needs are allowed, conflict is safe, boundaries are respected, both partners feel considered and heard, and neither person has to overfunction. This is how you create something healthier than what you grew up with. If you are struggling in your relationship, it doesn't mean anything is wrong with you or that your marriage is over. It could simply mean that your childhood patterns and your partner's childhood patterns are bumping into each other. And the hopeful part is this: you're not limited by what you learned early on. You can create something new, something safer, softer, more conscious. Your childhood may explain your patterns, but it does not decide your future. And the fact that you are here, you are exploring this, already means you're changing the story. If this brought you some clarity, you're welcome to watch the next video or subscribe if you'd like to keep learning with me. And thank you for watching or listening.